The Bearcats get their first win of the season, and boy, was it a big one. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Pilot Point Football Show, right here on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media, as the Bearcats finally break through in the win column as they beat Dallas Madison 35-18 in a game that was really back and forth. Man, Madison has some big play offense, and they got a couple big plays. First drive, they had a 34-yard touchdown, and they had a couple other 30 yards or more plays. But you got to give that Pilot Point defense credit. They bent at times but didn't quite break. Offense found its legs. And, man, just perfect timing to get that first win of the season after being oh so close. You could legitimately make the Pilot Point. Sorry, I had to do that. But you could generally make the point that, Pilot Point could be 3-2 right now. And that's part of that learning process of figuring out how to win games again after going scoreless last year. I mean, you got to remember, this is the first win since 2022 for this football varsity program. And so you're going to have those close, but, no cigars ones like the 7-6 loss to Bonham, or last week looking like you're about to take control of the game in the second half, a couple mistakes, and boom, give Howell credit. They jumped on them and they escaped with a 3-point victory. But all that doesn't matter now. Pilot Point's 1-0 in district, and that means they're one of only 3 teams that are. You pull off what would definitely be the upset this week, and then you're basically in the playoffs. But still, just to be there 1-0, you got to love that. We're going to do what we always do, and that's, of course, talk to the head coach of the Bearcats, Coach Chad Worrell. Now, before we do that, we're bringing the show back because we love Chad, and I've been doing a show with him for many years, and I wanted to keep doing a show, but we've got to have a sponsor. So please, if you can sponsor the show as a businessman or businesswoman or business couple, reach out to me, Terry at S2SSport.com, and I'll tell you how you can do it, and we can get you advertising as soon as next week. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's the head coach, Coach Chad Worrell, here on the Pilot Point Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Pilot Point Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Bearcats, Coach Chad Worrell. And, Coach, congratulations. You get your first win of the season. And, man, perfect timing. You're 1-0 in district. What were your thoughts on last week's game?
Well, we're just happy for the kids and the community. It's been a long time coming. Between the last one and this one, and we had a couple opportunities to get that earlier this year and just didn't finish out games. But man, what a great time to get it and be 1-0 in district and keep our number one goal, team goal alive, which is to make the playoffs.
That Dallas Madison team, some big plays, but y'all were able to win consistently other than a few big plays by their quarterback. Not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he's quick. But I really thought the defense came up with some key stops.
Yeah, we did. It took us a little bit to settle in. I think they went 4 plays on their first drive after we kicked off to them and scored, and it was just an adjustment, adjusting to the speed of the game with their quarterback. We talked about it all week, and it's hard to simulate that in practice. And then I thought our defense did a great job of settling after that and making plays and putting them behind the chain some and forcing them to throw on third and longs and get them off. We got a lot of stops there and got them off the field there in that situation.
You talked about this, how important this win was. First win for the program since 2022. First win for you since you've become the head coach. What did you say to the kids after the game?
Well, we just celebrated. I just told them to enjoy it, and I just wanted them to have that feeling. It's been so close. I mean, I felt like in all of our games and our 2 scrimmages, the kids came out and played hard, and we're getting after it, and it's heartbreaking whenever they don't have that win to show for that, and the week before against Howe, we felt like we had outplayed them and had the chance to put it away there at the end of the third quarter and made some mistakes and let them kind of hang around, and then we made some fourth quarter mistakes that lost the game. And so I was just heartbroken from kids. So more than anything, we just had fun. We just celebrated the win and hopefully, they enjoyed and saw that what it feels like whenever things come together and all that hard work comes together. And they're going to want to do that more.
Well, and, you talked about it right when you first started talking about how, this win being really important. You're 1-0 in district. You keep that playoff goal tangible. And getting that first win, does that help the players see that playoff goal is actually in reach and it's not just some big dream?
Yeah, I think so. We've talked about our goals. We have the same 4 goals every year. Making the playoffs is the first one, and that's still our goal. And in the same aspect, I told them after the Howe game last week when we were 0-4 in non-district that none of those losses had affected our goal to make a playoff. So being 1-0 in district, obviously, we've got a big one this week in Palmer, and then we go to A+ next week before we have our bye. So we're just trying to set ourselves up, to go into that bye, with a chance there at the playoffs coming out of it and 3 games to go, and hopefully get some kids healthy. And we've had a lot of sickness going around, and hopefully, kind of everything starts coming together. But yeah, just talk to the kids about keeping it, keeping focused. They've done such a good job of keeping focused one game at a time, and hopefully, they'll continue to do that.
All right. You talked about y'all playing Palmer. What do you see when you look at the film on the Bulldogs?
Well, offense that scores a lot of points, well coached, bunch, and a quarterback that's special. He's the best quarterback we've faced all year long by far, and maybe the best I've faced in a while. He's savvy, makes first person miss, and he's got a great ability to extend plays. And whether he ends up running the ball on scrambles or finding an open receiver downfield, he kind of makes that whole offense click. They got some great skill guys too as well that they get the ball to and have big play capability, and they do a good job of finding themselves open, making themselves open whenever he does extend the play.
Well, and this is one of those weird games where, you always want to score, but you don't want to get into a shootout with this type of team, do you?
No, we want our offense. It's no secret. And, we want our offense to be our best, defense and keeping the ball away from them and hopefully getting them out of sync. And yeah, if we have to get in a shootout with them, we'll definitely try to match them score for score, but we'd rather it be a shorter game and limit their possession because they're so dangerous on offense.
Do you have a kid that plays sports? Are you yourself a weekend warrior? Then I'm going to tell you something. Check out NeuroGuardPlus.com. That's NEURO guardplus.com. It's a mouthpiece that can not only help with concussions, but can dramatically affect the way you perform. And the mission of NeuroGuard is to, of course, reduce the risk of suffering a concussion when participating in any contact sport, military, anything that you're doing physical that you could take a blow to the head. You might want to put in a NeuroGuard mouthguard. And as I said, it not only helps eliminate concussions, it helps you perform better by simply aligning your jaw properly. And that sounds like such a simple thing, but it is so important because it allows oxygen to get to your brain. And when you get oxygen to the brain, you don't have that fog of sports or that fog of war where you get confused. And if you've ever played football, that's a sport where that can happen. Especially, man, you're in there in the trenches and you take a shot to the side and all of a sudden things are spinning. This mouth guard will help you keep focus by, again, simply keeping oxygen going to your brain 100%. Again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com. And if you play sports, if you have a kid that plays sport, if you do something physical, one of the things that Dr. Hutchinson, the creator of this, was talking about was some people will use it when they're doing yard work and when they're mowing and things like that, where they're being physically active because they know it helps align their jaw and it keeps oxygen going to the brain, which also helps your lungs, by the way, when you can have full breath every time as you're performing. So again, check them out, NeuroGuardPlus.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball.
If you have any questions for Coach Worrell, just email them to me, Terry at S2SSport.com. Also, again, needing a sponsor or two, so please email me for information on that. Again, Terry at S2SSport.com. It's going to be a tough one this week. Next week, you've got A+ Academy. Then you've got Pottsboro and Whitesboro, and then Live Oak Cliff. Basically, if things break right for Pilot Point, outside of, pulling off a couple huge upsets, you're going into that last game of the year probably with a chance for the playoffs, win and go on, move and go home, or lose and go home. And so you know, from where you were last year to where you're at now, if you're just playing just for a playoff spot in one calendar year, that's amazing. And that's where that's where the program is right now. That this win is so big, but it comes off the backs of, again, 2 other games where you could make the case that that Pilot Point should be 3-2. Again, you lose to Calsburg and Lindsay, no shames in those, when you were never in those games. But that bottom game, that Howe game, that Madison game, being competitive, winning one of them, and again, more importantly, winning the first district game. All right, Palmer's next week, and we'll talk about it next week right here on the Pilot Point Bearcat Football Show on S2S, part of L4 Media.